Welcome to the Prop Queen Pod. Thanks so much for coming in on a Friday. I'm Ariel Epstein. It's happy hour on a Friday. We've got to get you some winners to start your weekend off right. Sorry for like the 1 minute delay. Mid-major Matt just saved my life because I totally forgot to send him and Kelly in Vegas links for today's show. That said, Mid-major Matt going to join the show again, 5 to 10 p.m. Eastern time per usual, giving out strikeout props and talking some March Madness. Kelly in Vegas, she's going to come on the show as well. She's going to be on the road, shocker, all next week. So I had to grab her this week as we talk some madness because I got to get her take. And I do have a bone to pick with her and our friend Chris Thurston. I just can't believe that they're going to do what they're doing this weekend. It's beyond me, but that's besides the point. I'm at least loyal to certain things and they're not. So stay tuned to find out about that. Matt saying finally, Kelly and Ariel are on a pod together. Has this ever happened? I've been on shows with Kelly, just like with other people. We went on VSiN together during Super Bowl. We have been on Kelly and Murray together, probably missing some. Never solo, I don't think. So this might be a first and maybe first of many to come. We've got some things in the works. So everybody stay tuned for that. I've got a lot going on around me. I'm like totally overstimulated. We've got a ton of day baseball. It's opening day for a lot of different teams. We've got snow in Colorado, by the way. Yeah, it's crazy. I'm probably going to lose this fishy line, top of the ninth. Red Sox winning 13-6 over the Cards. I liked the Cards, but yeah, whatever. You said, let's go Aaron Judge. I don't know. What are your I guess, I don't know. Yankees are up 3-0. Judge is on fire, and I thought he almost killed himself before running into the wall in right field at PNC Park. Thank goodness he didn't. We were all, as Yankee fans, probably sitting there looking like, is this another Dodgers into the wall broken toe situation? That would suck. Hi, J Buff. Oh, I guess I've never seen your full name, J Buff. So there's another prop guy you need to get on who's the beast. Haven't seen him on here. Who's the prop guy, Steve? Who are you talking about? The prop guy that's a beast. Let me know, and I'll ask him to come on if you think he's great. Before you tell me, let's talk about yesterday's Royal Locks. I'm going to change screens. Hold on 1 second. Bear with me. I think I finally figured out what to do with this. Okay. Yesterday's Royal Locks, I can finally say LeBron James is a loser on air because he lost me my play. Under 7.5 rebounds is what hit. I'm really upset about it because I like that play a lot yesterday with LeBron. He had, I think, 5 rebounds. So whatever. Nestor Cortez at least saved the day. He went over 5.5 strikeouts. Finally looked really good in his debut in Milwaukee. Didn't look good for his Milwaukee Brewers debut at Yankee Stadium. Looked good in front of the home crowd, though. Had 6 strikeouts, going over 5.5 Ks. I thought he would have more. He had 5 strikeouts pretty early on, and then Nasty Nestor only ended up with 6. A win's a win, though, so who cares? Cookie Carrasco. What the hell? Like, under 3.5 strikeouts does not hit. It is beyond me still. You know, when you bet certain things, you just don't understand, like, in what world that would not hit. That's how I felt about Cookie Carrasco yesterday. I mean, against the Diamondbacks, so many pitchers who are better than Cookie Carrasco have gone under this number. And yet, here's Cookie Carrasco throwing great yesterday. I think he had 5 strikeouts. So, whatever. Good for the Yankees, I guess. I also, what was I going to, opening day. It's crazy to me how much I love baseball because I could watch any of these opening days. Today it was 1 o'clock. turned on the Tigers game on MLB TV, seeing all the fans so excited that the Tigers have their opening day. It's a holiday. You can't convince me otherwise. It is so fun to watch all these different opening days. I think that people take it for granted. And the Yankees, I'm just so distracted today. The Yankees just scored again. So it's 4-0. They're actually ruining Pirates fans opening day. So sorry about that. Sorry to Mitch Keller. I did see a really funny video yesterday that I wanted to share with everybody. And I think you guys will get some kick out of it if you haven't seen it. So for people that may not like baseball, and I think I was inspired with Kelly coming on the show today, I wanted to get some people to get a little fired up over the sport. Take a look. I have no sound on it because it's just the guy who recorded it off the TV screaming. I think it's funny. Like, I think it, like, have you ever seen a baseball fight like that? We haven't seen Major League Baseball, I don't think, in years have like a fight where a player's actually slamming you with a bat. That's dark stuff. I would say the worst fight is probably pushing over Don Zimmer. And the funny part is, I know Pedro Martinez pretty well now from working at MLB Network. He's a funny guy. Pedro is great. So the first time I ever met Pedro, and I wish that I could get Pedro on the show. We're not that tight, like Cliff Floyd and I tight. But Pedro and I, we like hit it off real well for the hour we worked off base last year. He came in the makeup room. He goes, Ariel, I'm so excited to work with you. I love the betting stuff that you do. It's great. I said, Pedro, I hate you. And that's how we went for the next hour, just like laughing about the fact that I actually hate that man. Okay. What I also hate, torpedo bats. Enough. We're done. Yahoo has said, and I thought this would come up a little bit bigger. I think I have like the full tweet. I wonder if it'll show up better if I show you the full tweet. I can't believe that Yahoo is doing this. Do I have it somewhere? Ugh, I don't want to waste time again looking for this, but Yahoo has tweeted. Here it is. Let's see if it shows up better. A little bit better. So torpedo bats are on Yahoo Fantasy Sports now. They're legitimately putting it on. Like Yahoo Fantasy Sports, you could see who uses a torpedo bat next to their name at Yahoo Fantasy. What world? I guess it's kind of a different handicap, if you will. You could look at the different players that are using the torpedo bats. Maybe you don't bet unders on them until you get a better idea of how good they are with them. I just can't believe that this is what we're up to. Now you have to handicap torpedo bats. Maybe we're going to have to throw into our outs props and our strikeout props and our walks props, all of the above, how many teams are using torpedo bats and how often and how many players. Is this a new thing? I don't know. Anyway, I'm over this whole torpedo bat thing, and I'm sure my next guest is too. So I'm going to bring him on now. Why is my computer not working? Next guest coming on the show, per usual, we are bringing on Mid-Major Matt. What's going on, Matt?
Doing well. 1-1 so far today. Hit the under at even money for Jonathan Cannon's strikeout prop, and was 1 out away on Jack Flaherty's outs prop. But unfortunately, he had some troubles at least early on in the game and didn't last as long as I hoped.
I knew I was going to regret not betting the over 6.5 strikeouts for Jack Flaherty. I just knew it, and I did.
And he did in the very last batter too. His last batter was a strikeout was 7.
That's crazy. I was watching on my iPad and I was getting work done. Then Flaherty walks out of the game. MLB TV is a little late when you do the box score. So I looked quickly when I saw him walking up the field. I saw 6. I thought, oh, good thing I didn't bet it. And then you told me, no, it was 7. Damn it. I'm so pissed right now. And then, of course, the one I bet is the fishy line and the Cardinals suck. So that's where we're at.
Well, I mean, I know you are now getting used to having to bet day games. That wasn't a thing for you in the past. So, this is welcome to the world of day games.
No, not for long. This is not lasting. I don't like day baseball. I love it as a fan. I hate it as a bettor until opening weeks and days are over, aka this week. And then it's all over. Night games only, Matt. That's it.
Okay. We'll see how long that lasts.
I love baseball too much. It's my problem. Okay, Mid-Major Matt, We do have your plays. Hold on one second. I told you this is always so annoying. Okay. We have your plays for tonight's slate, since you did already mention your day games. Let's start with the Luzardo under 5.5 Ks. This is something I like. We definitely agree upon this prop. Why do you like Luzardo under 5.5 Ks?
It's Dodgers against lefties. Now it's very scary, and I regret not taking Sales under. But I mean, Luzardo's just as nasty. Look how good he did against the Nationals, who we thought were a team that doesn't strike out a lot. Of course, apparently they do this year. So it's one of those things we talked about the last time I was on. It's almost an auto bet. You just adjust your unit size a little bit, and for the ones you're more confident in, you put more units on. And the ones like this, where the pitcher's good but you're playing the trend, you put a little less units on it.
I agree. It's a trend that we just have to continue to back. It's one of those things where if you at least bet it consistently, you're going to be profitable, at least for now. So Dodgers unders against lefties for Ks, same way you bet overs on lefties against the Red Sox. Those are our two probably favorite strikeout prop trends right now.
Yeah, or just betting the over on the Red Sox in general, unless your name's Erick Fedde, who somehow only had one strikeout.
Well, he sucked today. That's why. I'm so mad. I liked his over 4.5 Ks today too. I didn't bet it. Oh, the car. Damn. I thought that was gone, but it's a foul ball. Oh, I'm still watching this game against the Red Sox and Cards. But anyway, Yamamoto under 1.5 earned runs. You get this at plus 128. Very good value. Why are you thinking Yamamoto has a good game tonight?
So the Phillies have scored just 6 runs against starting pitching so far this season. Mackenzie Gore shut him out. Mitchell Parker shut him out. German Marquez shut him out. Antonio Senzatella, he gave up 10 hits and only 1 run. So like it's a case of I'm getting an ace pitcher who they haven't seen before. In a game where he may only go 5 innings, so far, both starts, he's only gone 5 innings, and you're giving me plus 128 against an offense that's very slow starting, I'm going to take a shot. So, this is, and I put this on my the graphic on my Twitter account, like it's a price play. If this was minus 128, probably wouldn't play it. But at this price, I'm willing to take a shot on it.
Yeah, Jessica's agreeing with you. She said this has been cut a lot across the board on Yoshi. Market agrees. Best right now looks to be plus 115. So everyone's moving. This team's moving in your direction. Kramer, under 4.5 Ks, minus 146 for the O's starter. You like his under tonight. Why are you going under on Dean Kramer?
So the last 2 games, Peralta had 8 against the Royals. Patrick had 5. I think that's an anomaly. We know what the Royals do. I mean, last year I played 32 K props in Kansas City games. Like it was just something I think I had a stretch of like 8 or 9 straight games that I just played unders. And this is a team.
They were going under a lot at some point last year.
They went under 94 times to 63 overs last year. And I'm going to go back to the first 4 games of the season. Lively had 3. Gavin Williams, your guy, had 2. Bybee had 2. And Elvin Rodriguez had 3. Kramer is, he can have really good stuff, and he could go over this. The other thing that's kind of interesting here, bad weather tonight. Start could get cut short. It could be a weather delay in the middle of the game, and then he gets taken out. And I just think, look, this is a juice tolerance sort of thing. Some people may see the minus 146 and be like, it's a little too much. But for me, that's right at the border of what I'm acceptable here. And, I'll lean under against the Royals for the most part.
I know. I was trying to look at the Royals a little bit tonight, and I think I said to you, I saw this number a little too juiced last night at minus 160, and I think it's come down a little, so now it's definitely bettable. Looking at the Royals this year so far, I thought, see the 5 and the 8, the last 2 with Patrick and Peralta were the 2 that threw me off, but hey, like the first 4 games of the year, 3 and 2 Ks, absolutely sign me up, but Dean Kramer's annoying. Sometimes I feel like I can't get a read on him. Every time I fade him, he looks like the best pitcher of all time.
Yeah, and some of it is he's better at home at times. He's better on the road at times. He's a tough guy to figure out. But, a lot of times if you get a 4.5 against the Royals, I'm probably going to go under because the pitcher's probably mediocre enough that he wouldn't just automatically go over. So, yeah, I'll take a shot. I mean, look, it could look bad, and paying that juice will potentially hurt, but I'm willing to do so with Kansas City.
I love that you're on my guy, Gavin Williams, over 15.5 outs. It's in plus money at plus 120. They're playing the Angels tonight. Late night game here on the East Coast. Why do you like Big Gav?
Well, I think we're getting a good price here after a bad start. And it wasn't really necessarily a bad start, to say at the least.
Yeah, I didn't throw so bad.
He just wasn't great. He just didn't get strikeouts, and that's what he did during the spring and everything. But he also only went 74 pitches. And so to me, I'm getting a guy who went 5 innings last time and 74 pitches. And if they're incrementally moving him up, when you look at the Angels this year, Sonny Gray went 6 innings. Liberatore went 6 innings. Davis Martin went 6 innings, and Burke back on opening day went 6 innings. So we're getting a trend here. And Mikolas went 5 1/3. That's a winner. So we're getting a trend here that didn't hit one time this season with a pitcher that I'm expecting to be a lot better in this sort of game. So with plus money, this was the first bet I took. I took this last night. Probably you might have been in bed by the time I had played this, but
I can't believe you didn't text me.
I'm not going to wake you up and say like, hey, I'm playing your guy tonight. So I was glad to get it at plus 120. I don't know what it is now, but at plus 120, I'm projecting him to go, 5 2/3, 5 1/3, whatever. I think he's going to do better against an Angels offense that we've seen everybody except for Jonathan Cannon go more than 5 innings.
For people that don't know, I got to see Gavin Williams pitch when he was literally first college game ever. I sat with his grandparents, and it was the cutest thing. I mean, hold on, I'm going to get your best bets down. So Gavin Williams, he played for ECU. I was a local sports anchor there. Gavin was a freshman coming out of the bullpen, throwing gas. I mean, he was pitching at 105 miles an hour. He just was a little wild, and he was so tight, like skinny, always tall, so skinny. Sat with his grandparents, watched his debut. Ever since, I've just known Gavin. They call him Big Gav. Now every time I see him come to New York, I say hello. It's like watching when you work in local news and you watch players come up from high school, college to the pros. It's such a nice feeling, Matt.
Yeah. I mean, there's guys, guys that I cover here in Richmond who, when they make it to the majors, it's like, it feels different because you watch them in high school, you follow them in college or whatever, and then, they come on your show or whatever. So yeah, it definitely feels better when you know somebody or you followed somebody and you see their dreams pay off.
Gavin's at least not Hunter Green level. I just feel like Gavin hasn't lived up to the strikeout potential that I thought he could have last year. He was a K machine in college. I'm hoping this year we can get him to the next level because he was always right there. You always lost by the hook on Gavin's strikeout props. So hopefully this year he comes back around.
Well, and he's got 2 of the teams that, he's on Cleveland, so he only has 1 of them. But that division doesn't have a lot of teams that strike out a ton. Minnesota last year did. So far, Minnesota has not this year. But he's in a nice division for strikeout potential in certain situations.
Absolutely. Tigers, sign me up. I can't believe this game with the Cards and the Red Sox still going on for Red Sox opening day at Fenway. It's 13-9 Boston. They're still space is loaded now. 1 out. Who's coming up? This is crazy. I'm sorry, everybody, but I'm just I think it's Jordan Walker coming up. This is just my fishy line of the day, so I'm very invested. While I invest myself in baseball, we've got March Madness coming up tomorrow. We've got games starting at 6 p.m. Eastern time. Matt has been writing in the newsletter for help with props because I cannot bet college basketball players on props. What is your best advice for betting props tomorrow?
Yeah. And ironically, much like you, I can't either. I can do it in certain apps, but not on the mainstream.
Oh, it's not even that I can't actually do it because of being in New York. It's the fact that I don't like to do it because it makes me crazy.
Well, yeah, 18 to 20-year-old kids make a lot of people crazy. So here's the thing. We talked about it the last time, and I'll just reiterate it once again. The way to kind of beat Houston is to go and find open players and open shots. And you do that by moving the basketball. And we've seen it so far this tournament where assists beat Houston. And Houston gives up a lot of assists, and Duke assists in a lot of their baskets. And so to me, I singled out in the newsletter Con Knipple. and I said his 2.5, which was a trend that he's gone over in 9 of his last 10 games in 3 straight games. But if you know Duke a little bit better, like I would almost take almost anybody's assists over. Cooper Flagg, Sion James, almost anybody other than the center Maluach. I would take almost anybody's over for the assists, because I think if Duke's going to win this game, they're going to have to move the basketball. And it seems like a lot of guys participate in that sort of situation. The other thing is you beat Houston by making 3-pointers, or at least attempting 3-pointers. Con Knippel's 3-point number, at least last I saw, or when I locked it in, was 1.5. He's a guy that has the ability to hit a bunch of threes. It used to be Tyrese Proctor, but he's gone a little bit cold. Once again, I'd almost suggest any Duke player and their 3-point prop, but threes and assists are the way to go there. The other game, I don't see a lot of edges. The one thing I'll say for people who are looking at this game, Florida and Auburn, Florida went into Auburn and won early February, but they did so without Elijah Martin. So you kind of have to adjust the statistics a little bit, because he is going to play in this game. Janai Broome, even though he left last game with an injury, says he's going to play. So I didn't really find too many edges in this game. I hope Florida wins for personal reasons, but this is going to be a really fun game, and the close line will certainly show that.
I am worried a bit about Broome. I do agree with certain people I've spoken with. Having the week off is going to help him a lot. It's more if Auburn were to advance, let's say, that I'd be concerned about the quick turnaround. But I guess that's not something we need to worry about at the moment. It's just so hard to handicap something that's obviously, especially when it comes to college players, so tight to the vest, close to the vest, that they don't want to talk about.
Plus, Florida, I think, has played with 9 lives. I mean, look, they were losing in the second half to UConn. They were down 9 with like 3 minutes left at Texas Tech. They've had some close games. On the one hand, you say, well, they just know how to win these games. That means they're going to play well going forward, or at some point their luck is going to run out. And Auburn, who at times was the best team in college basketball this past season, just moves on. So it's really a tough game to handicap. Maybe it's a live betting sort of situation, get kind of a feel as to how both teams are playing. They're playing in the Alamo Dome, so that usually makes you think about the under when it comes to points in this situation, messes with the sight lines and stuff like that. So I think we're going to have a really good Final Four, but most of my edges that I found were in the Duke-Houston game.
The funny part is when you hear people talk about Auburn, and I really don't know much about college hoops. I don't follow it year round. I start following it around conference tournaments. I'm one of those people. It's fine. Auburn, everyone talks about them as if they're a Cinderella. I feel like no one's talked about Auburn as if they're a worthy 1 seed. Everyone's talked about them. I can't believe it. Auburn's still surviving. Why are we still talking about Auburn as a Cinderella team when they're a 1?
Auburn didn't close the regular season out great. They what was it, like 3 of their last 4 they lost. They didn't play great in the end of the regular season, so I think people thought they were the vulnerable one of the 4 of them. Because look, everybody loved Duke. Nobody thought they were going to have any issues. Houston's a team that we thought was going to go through their bracket pretty quickly. They got lucky playing Gonzaga earlier than they should have. We weren't concerned about Houston. Florida was playing the best basketball in the country entering the tournament, so people automatically fell in love with Florida. So it was Auburn, the team that kind of limped down the stretch, that everybody thought was the vulnerable one. I guess that's why they're the quote-unquote Cinderella in this Final Four.
Jessica Brand has a question for you. She said, are you concerned at all about the Alamo Dome being such an atypical basketball arena for scoring? I would be. Could be a slow offensive start all around, unfamiliar lighting, huge seating, etc.
So, yeah, in these kind of stadiums, a lot of people will play first half unders. Like, that's the good thing about the assist prop is there will be baskets that have to be scored. Now, there won't be as many. I like to use the case of the SIU-E game against Houston. SIU-E scored 40 points. They had, I think it was 15 baskets. There were 11 assists on those 15 baskets. So, Tennessee didn't score a lot, but most of the baskets that they made were assisted. So I think by kind of taking advantage of the passing aspect of it, not so much the scoring, like I wouldn't look at any points props. You're right. I wouldn't look at points props for this thing. I try and get around it the best that I can. But yeah, early unders. The one thing is that's really interesting is these teams get shoot-arounds in these buildings beforehand, so they'll be a little bit used to it. It's a little different, though, because some teams treat these shoot-arounds like, hey, we're going to shoot half-court shots, and we're just going to mess around a little bit. And some teams actually treat these as legitimate practices and really take them seriously. So depending upon how these teams treated their shoot-around time in this building, that kind of helps as well.
Mid-Major Matt. He's going to be writing in the newsletter. I'm going to have his picks out for you tomorrow and everything that you need to know about betting props in the tournament for the Final Four. Matt, thank you so much. Hope you have a great weekend.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
Of course. Okay, let's get this all sorted out again. Jessica said, I went to Duke, Bama Elite 8. Duke's 100% business, notably. Good stuff. Good stuff, Mid-Major Matt, as always. As I wait for Kelly in Vegas, and I forgot to tell her that I sent her a link. I should text her right now and tell her I emailed her a link. I emailed you a link. Okay, great. So she'll tune in at 5:30. Let's talk a little bit of NBA. I gave this stuff out in the newsletter today as well. So first we'll start with the Phoenix Suns without Kevin Durant. They're without KD again tonight. Big game against the Celtics. Against the Celtics, bigs, I should say. So that is a concern. However, Devin Booker, he's still done really well without Kevin Durant. He's averaging just over 27 points a game, and his prop's 26.5. Booker had a really bad last game against the Celtics, so it's something to definitely keep in mind because I told you guys, I don't really like betting things twice. So I don't like when, like if something, let's say Booker had a great game last game against Boston, I'd be like, I don't really like that. This time around, he had a bad game. I think it was 14 points that he put up the last game against Boston. This time, I like him over his points prop. I know it's probably pretty public, but I don't care. Richards was also interesting because his rebounds without KD definitely goes up as well from about 7 to 8 to 10. Yet against a team like Boston, who has bigs like Kristaps Porzingis, who's really good at limiting opposing bigs, I probably am going to stay away. Next game, Houston Rockets. So the Rockets are taking on the Oklahoma City Thunder, two really good defensive teams. I don't know what Kelly is sending me. Oh, Kelly's distracting me. Okay, anyway. Two defensively focused teams, and you've got Jalen Green, Fred VanVleet, Alperen Sengun, and Amon Thompson. I like Fred VanVleet the best of these. I'm going to talk about it a little bit later. Alperen Sengun, also his points goes up against top 10 defenses, so it's definitely something to keep in mind. And I'll continue to talk some NBA a little bit later on in the show. We've got a couple of minutes until I've got Kelly on, but she logged in, and since she keeps distracting me in our 18,000 group chats, I'm just going to make her come on the show. So before I do, in case you haven't seen it, oh no, I thought I added the video to here. I worked really hard on this video of Kelly and I that I posted. Oh, here it is. I worked really hard on this, and it was a joke at first when I posted this to X of Kelly and coming on the show. But because I worked on it and thought it was funny, I'm going to show it. So enjoy. My BFF, my best friend forever, my absolute favorite person, always and forever. I think it's so funny. Okay, now coming on the show, I've got Kelly. Hi, Gal.
It is so not funny. That is so weird. Also, why on earth? I don't know how to use StreamYard, you guys. So let me figure out. Okay, there we go. I had some I was messing with my lighting, and it touched me up and made me all filtered. We all know that I don't do.
But that could be good for you.
It probably would be good for me because now I'm too shiny. Now that I got my lights on, so this is gonna be fun. I'm excited to be here. It has been a very long day of shows talking about the same two games over and over and over again, and I still don't know if I'm going to hedge or not.
It feels like the Super Bowl.
Yeah, it kind of does, except
you
for
can get into baseball.
I mean, it's going to be better than the Super Bowl. Well, the Super Bowl was pretty good. I should take that back.
It was only good for us. Nobody
hopefully
else
it's as good as the college football playoff. How about that? The college football playoff was really good for me. I had both teams in the national championship and just got to sit back and enjoy. I really would love for that to be Houston and Florida this week.
For people that don't know, Kelly's going to be in Vegas, living up to her name, on Monday at the Westgate Superbook. She's so excited. She probably has a countdown for it. I don't understand why you're going on Monday and not going for Friday. I mean, Saturday.
Okay. So here's what happened. You and I were on a cruise.
Yeah.
And I'd had about 4,000 margaritas between my Mexico trip and our cruise. And I'm laying there and the boat is rocking. And I'm just like, I cannot go to Vegas next week. I cannot go to Vegas 9.5 days from now. And I just went on the Southwest app and I canceled my flight. Not the brightest thing I've ever done, but I was having Thursday scaries, or I don't even know what day it was at that Tuesday scaries. And I was like, oh my God, I can't. So, and then I was like, John, I'm not coming. And then the marketing guys direct me and text me and was like, hey, you're not coming. And I'm like, let me look
And
at
then they
flights.
started crying.
So I went back and I looked at the flight and I'm like, oh God, it's like 3 times as much. It was like over $1,000. I'm like, you idiot. Like, why did you do that? But in hindsight, I think the national championship is going to be better because it's going to be on a Monday. A bunch of people from Wager Talk are going to be able to get together. A bunch of my friends who normally work weekend jobs. Remember, a lot of people work weekends in Vegas, have Mondays off. So like my girlfriend Brittany's got Monday off. I'm really excited because my friend Alex is coming with to kind of just like.
Yeah, it's your friend
Vegas
Alex's first time in Vegas.
as an adult. So I found out the other night she had been there as a child for a tennis
Yeah,
tournament
it's
before,
different.
but that doesn't count. So
No.
her first time as an adult, and we're there for Monday through Friday, which is probably too long, but that gives me enough time to like, here's what my schedule looks like. We land, I'm going to go get my hair done. We're going to hang out at the Westgate. We're going to go to Velvet. We're going to get margaritas. We got the national championship game. And then Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, because we don't fly out till Friday night. Then I can do all of the videos for the Westgate Superbook contest. I can do the blackjack stuff that I want to do with VR from Wager Talk. I can play my slot machines at my leisure. I can showcase some of the other parts of the Westgate. And then it's not so rushed. I think usually 5 days in Vegas is too long. But this, I think, can be a little bit more relaxing because you know that I'm going to ask John Murray for a comp to the spot. Like, that is happening.
Yes. And the steakhouse.
Yes, of course.
That steakhouse was really good, by the way, when we went with John for Super Bowl.
Yes.
That was great.
Yeah, very great steakhouse. So, and you know, they have a Benihana if you're really drunk and you're not.
Oh, yeah, we did that too.
We did that too. And look, there's a lot of great spots in there.
Uncle Benny didn't make it, I don't think.
Uncle Benny never makes it, at least to the end of dinner. He sometimes makes it to dinner, just doesn't remember dessert. But look, I'm going to go to our friends at Barry's. There's a new Mexican restaurant at the Wynn I'm excited to go with because we all know I love good Mexican food. We're going to see our good friend Melania. She's going to have dinner with us Thursday night. So it's kind of like an extended trip, but it's a much more relaxed, less like condensed, insane weekend like we normally have for Vegas.
So everybody could go see Kelly on Monday at the Westgate, go to the Superbook, say hi to John Murray, by the way. Make sure you all ask for John Murray, every one of you.
Apparently he's not going to be there on Monday. So I said, hey, let's go to Edge Steakhouse after the national championship game. He goes, why would I come to my job on my day off after I've been drinking?
To see you.
I said, what? And he goes, we're going to go to Naked City and get wings. You can meet us at Office Bar.
No.
You've been to Office Bar. Pretty sure we did shots of Jameson with picklebacks there last time.
That was against my will. It was the last day after Super Bowl, and I got the flu the next day.
And you probably got it from the Office Bar.
Probably. I probably made it through everything in the Super Bowl, except I got the flu there.
Yeah. I don't know. It was kind of crazy. So I guess that's what we're going to do after. Since Edge Steakhouse is actually closed on Monday, I'm like, who decided that? What executive decided that was a good idea?
Like
eat weight in gluten-free pizza inside the book. A bunch of the Wager Talk guys are coming. It should be really fun. I found out our friend
have fun.
Boss is coming from VSiN.
Ooh.
I'm just excited to see people that I haven't seen, well, you know, in a few months.
Yeah, and there's a chance that Kelly and I will go in August together.
Yay, I did text you guys. Super Contest weekend is not 100% solidified, but I did tell John I cannot do the third weekend. It has to be the second weekend, which is the 8th, 9th, and 10th, because I will be in Ireland for the following. So really excited because I told him we need to have a blackjack tournament, Ariel. So I'm going to really try to get that facilitated where maybe I'm hosting, maybe I'm participating, maybe I'm allowed to do both. We'll figure out the legalities with that. We're also going to do a slot tournament, which is really fun. And then, of course, the prestigious Las Vegas Country Club is going to host the Westgate Super Contest golf tournament. And then I got to somehow get back here.
Is the slots contest going to be with our favorite slot? Buffalo.
Well, I think they have, Buffalo. I am going to do some Buffalo videos this week. I got my stack of cash sitting right here on my desk so I don't forget it. I feel like I'm like so not cash heavy anymore. It's so odd to me how I used to be such a cash
in Vegas. Actually, everybody should know that I use Kelly and her boyfriend as my ATM in Vegas. Because they always go with like they gamble way more than me. So by the time I run out of money, because I just go to the Westgate Casino at 3 a.m. when I'm bored, I end up losing my money. So then I go to Kelly and Brett's room and I'm like, hey, ATM me. I'm not paying that like 10% fee.
It's not quite that much, but ATM fees are ridiculous in Vegas. So definitely hit up your bank before you go. Yeah, I think it's going to be just a really fun trip. Both of them. The Supercross weekend one, I'm going to fly in Friday morning and leave Sunday night if I can, because that is going to be
That sounds terrible.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter. I'm going to have to, my liver from Vegas to turn right around and go to Ireland for 10 days is going to be.
But if I'm not in Ireland with you, you'll only be with Aunt Helen. So it's not that
Yeah,
bad.
but I'm going to see everybody from college. Amanda.
Yeah, but that's only for a few days.
Ben's going to be there. Yeah. You think it's going to be tame. I don't think it's going to be that tame. I am very excited though. I found out. So I told Dana, who's our travel agent, I said, hey, I'm going to rent a car. And she's like, you don't want to take the train. You don't want to take a bus. And I was like, no, I'm going to rent a car. So I already went on the national app and reserved a car. And I'm like, dang, it's not that bad. It's 500 euros for like 9 days. And it's only a manual transmission. I'm like, I can drive a stick. And then I realized you're driving on the other side of the road, which is fine. I did it in St. Croix. But in St. Croix, it's still the American car where the steering wheel's on the left, even though you drive on the right. So it was a little weird. But now the steering wheel is on the right and you drive on the left. And oh, by the way, my mom reminded me the other day. So I was sitting in my mom's new Tesla and I was telling her how I rented this car. And she goes, you know that the stick shit, you're going to have to learn how to do the stick left-handed, right? And I'm like, oh my God. Like,
You're an idiot.
It's going to be so much fun. You wouldn't let me do it in Italy.
No, we weren't just anywhere in Italy. We were on the Amalfi Coast in Positano, where they literally tell you that you need like a separate driver's license to drive there. Like the bus, could you imagine?
We would have been fine. We would have been fine. We were going
up a cliff. We were going up a cliff and the bus couldn't get around. And our driver had to go in reverse down a cliff with no sidewalls to let a bus go around us. So yeah, if you were doing that, I would have said, all right, you do that. I'm going to go to the restaurant. Sayonara. I'm walking. No way.
We would have been in one of those little Euro cars, like a little like Fiat, and it would have been fine. It would have been tiny. We just
when we're 85, we could do it like two old ladies.
Okay, deal.
I mean, the palm reader in Italy said we're stuck
Have we
together.
completely lost all of your viewership at this point? Are they so?
No, I think they're still coming in. Okay, we could talk a little basketball. March Madness. I know you're sick of talking about these games, so I'll kind of switch it up a little bit. Since we love props here, who are some players to like key in on in the Final Four?
Well, it's funny because you guys always talk about props, and I don't, right? Like props are not my forte, especially in college sports, because I do
hate them
feel
in
like
college.
You start to pay a premium for big name players, right? So Andy Lang works with me at Wager Talk. You guys did Prop Shop on Bet On It a couple of years ago together.
Mm-hmm.
One of the ones that he put me on was Cooper Flagg under 21.5 points. Look, Cooper Flagg absolutely ripped my guts out, Ariel, like against Arizona. I had Arizona in the first half. Remember, if I was betting dogs, I was betting him in the first half. And he just dagger threes it at the buzzer. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to be sick. It was probably one of the worst beats I've had, at least, well, this college basketball season. I'll leave it at that. Either way, he likes Cooper Flagg under 21.5 points, which kind of got me looking at a couple other big name players, right? Everybody likes the under in Houston Duke. So you might be looking at LJ Cryer, former Baylor player. Keep an eye out. Again, look, if you're looking for overs, try to find those guys that no one knows about. I'll say this, Broome, I don't know if he's 100% or not. I find it very interesting. He plays for Auburn, by the way, if you did not know. He's the guy that got a little banged up. And our good buddy Joe said in our group chat, he goes, show me the MRI. And I kind of thought.
He told us he was dead. I was so pissed because I was on Auburn that game. Had I had them in Survivor. Joe's telling me Broome's dead. He thinks he's a doctor because he like works in medical sales or something.
I mean, he works in orthopedics. So, Dr. Chow, relax. Anyway,
everyone's dead.
He wasn't dead, but the reality is he is still Auburn's best player, and I'm not convinced he's 100%. So, depending on where you like to shop, maybe look towards betting some unders there. I do not believe any players. I hardly believe any coaches anymore because I've been lied to so many times. Is he 100%? Your guess is as good as mine. And then, of course, my favorite player in the tournament who has absolutely saved my ass in at least 2 games, UConn and Texas Tech, Walter Clayton Jr. I need this man to go off. It correlates with Florida winning this game. But do I think there's any value attached to his name? No, he's one of the number 1 players in college basketball right now, right? Remember, Ariel, we have 4 teams in the Ken Palm, like top 10 teams of all time. And we're seeing all 4 of them play here. Here's kind of the reality with the game itself as a whole. With why I don't know if I'm going to hedge. I know our good friend CT Bets got some Auburn +3. Every single time I look on the odds logic screen, let's look it open right now. Let's refresh. I doubt there's a 3. There's a lot of 2 minus 115 or minus 113, depending on where you like to shop. But the reality is I'm just not thinking I'm going to be sitting here in front of my computer screen a long enough time to be able to gather up one of those 3s. It's just not going to happen for me. We're lots of 2.5s minus 108, DraftKings, Pinnacle, Superbooks, 2.5 minus 105. They're saying, come on in, give us some more Florida money.
Mm-hmm.
But BetWar, one of the sharper books I like to follow on here, is minus 113. So keep an eye out there. But what I will say is that I have not been high on Auburn basically since the Creighton game. I did bet Creighton. I was wrong. But Auburn did still start to struggle early in that game. You know who they also struggled early against? Michigan. You know who else they also struggled early against? Michigan State. I usually say look towards the dogs in the first half. But this Auburn team looks gassed in the first half. And they played one of the toughest schedules in college basketball this year. Here's kind of the thing that doesn't bode well for my Florida future is that Florida has had to come from behind against UConn and Texas Tech. And I don't love that for them here, right? They were able to beat
doesn't
up.
like their head coach either.
Who doesn't?
CT.
Oh, well, listen, I can make a joke about him being anti-Semitic, but I won't. So anyway.
We went there. We went there.
Bruce
Pearl is my hero.
That has something to do with Judaism, because I've learned so much about Judaism being friends with her. I have to send it to her. And I'm like, did you know that Todd Golden is Jewish? And her dad's like, what is wrong with you? I'm like, I'm just so excited for you guys because I have a futures bet on him and it correlates to you guys. And he's like, okay, Cal. Anyway, jokes aside on CT, I know I'm mean and I say awful things about one of my best friends, but here's
I have something to bring up about him too, but you finish.
That's all. I do like Florida here because they have shown resilience several times. That being down to Connecticut, down to Texas Tech, by all means should have lost that game. I got to use my reverse jinx powers on both those games. I do think Florida can lose this game if they turn the ball over more than 12 or 13 times. That seems to be their Achilles heel. Auburn, on the other hand, really struggles from the charity stripe from time to time. And I think that could haunt them late, especially when a cover comes into play. I understand that they are one of the most experienced teams in college basketball, and you've got to give that to them. But I think Florida matches up really well here. And we all know that Florida defense is just absolutely stifling. Todd Golden has done a great job in the second half here. I'm going to probably ultimately be off this game. If I did bet it, I'd probably bet Florida first half just based on fading Auburn in the first half once again. But as of right now, I think I'm going to sit back and not hedge. If I do get a 3 here on the screen, I might go for potentially a middle.
Here's my problem. You ended up winning this like baby shower contest for Chris Thurston's baby who was born. And so Cole is his name. We love Cole. He's adorable. I don't remember how much you won from this contest, but you put
$500 was the pool, and it's a 50-50 raffle. So you get half and the baby gets half. So I had $250 come my way from our friend Dan Livshatz.
Yes, he organized it because I refused to handle everyone's money. I was too scared, and I got the flu anyway, so it's fine. And then Kelly decided to take her winnings, put it on a Florida ticket to win the championship. Now, Chris very well knows this about Cole's first bet. Cole's first bet is being on Florida to win the national championship. So what does Chris do? He bets Auburn tomorrow. Is he out of his mind? He's fading his kid.
I don't know. Maybe he's mad at me for taking that gift away from him. That was part of it too. Is like hey, I'm going to do this for your kid. Wins $250, wins $2,000. I got him at 7-1 for him. I know not 40-1, but I thought it would be fun to give him something to cheer for. Chris fading his kid is interesting because again, there is a middle available. Chris did get Auburn +3. Would I be shocked to see Florida win on a last-second free throw? No. Would I be shocked to
Fair.
see Florida have to come from behind late in the second half to win the game by 2? No. Would I be shocked to see the game land 3? Of course not. The thing is,
That's fair.
dogs aren't winning outright. They just aren't. This whole tournament has just been a chalk fest. I feel like the whole world is going to parlay Florida and Duke for plus whatever 180 or whatever it ends up coming out to be. I wish I had like something definitive to come on here and tell your audience, but that's just kind of the reality. I feel like I've got 2 out of the 4 teams in the Final Four, and I just need to trust the process. And a lot of people are going to say you're an idiot for not guaranteeing yourself money.
How's your Splash Sports Survivor contest going?
Oh, I've been dead. I've been dead for
I thought
a
you had
long
some
time.
Survivor tickets.
I thought I had 2 left too. And guess what? I log in and I've used all 4 Final Four teams, but I'm not out because I won last weekend, but I'm out because I have no one left available. But I will say Mark Zeno called me today. My buddy Chad called me today. Lots of guys are still alive. And I think we're going to see a big chop.
Chris and I are still alive. We
good.
each have one, and we've been riding it out together. So we kind of have 2, and we'll split it.
There you go.
Yeah, so I have to root for Chris somehow. I'm just mad that he's betting against his kid.
So he's using Auburn.
He'll probably use Auburn, and then I'll probably use who do I have left? Duke? No.
I think this is the interesting thing. Here, let's talk about that. Because Zeno and Chad both have Florida and Duke left. And
I'll tell you who we have
the
left.
split in the big $1 million one that Splash put on as well has like 640 people left.
We have Florida and Houston left. So we'll probably each use one. So he already used Auburn. We both use Auburn. So we'll have to probably one will play Houston, one will play Florida, and then we just hope that's the final.
And then he hopes that Florida wins by 1 or 2.
Yeah.
I mean, you're threading the needle. I'm not disagreeing with it. I don't think at 2.5 I want to. I think if I can find a 3 in the next 24 hours before the game, I really may bet a little bit of the plus money. Chris tried to convince me to bet some Auburn at 6-1 today. I said I don't think they can win the national championship.
Well, especially with Broom, right? Even if he looks healthy enough after having a week off to play tomorrow, that's a quick turnaround for someone not 100% Monday.
It is. And look, I think the team that has the best opportunity to beat Duke might be Houston because they're going to play that slow, methodical pace. The only way Duke is going to be able to go up and down against Houston is if they play like Purdue did and take them out of the rhythm. Well, guess what? Duke also plays really slow, so they're going to take themselves out of their own rhythm? I don't think so. That's why everybody loves this under, and I don't blame them. Let me see what it currently is. It's been kind of on the move, on the down whirl. Well, there's a 137 at Circa still. Shockingly, they must be getting over money. It's nuts. 136 at the sharpest book on the screen. 137 at Pinnacle. Huh. Look,
I mean, this tournament has to probably change how you're going to bet college basketball futures going forward with so much chalk, the NIL stuff. Obviously, everyone was probably still taking risks this year by trying to find the Cinderella team to at least get it to the Final Four. Going forward, people are going to be a little nervous to bet these big dogs.
Yeah, I said it. I did Outkick show earlier today with Clay, and I said, what do you want me to do if dogs don't win outright? I got to find a new stitch.
A new hobby.
Yeah, I'm going to have to find a new
something else to make you happy.
It's not only college basketball, it's college football too. Look, we saw one dog cover the entire college football playoff, Arizona State, and they probably had a really good chance to win outright. That was the only dog I even bet. I chalked that whole playoff.
What else is going to make you happy in life?
Oh,
that was really all you had.
I don't know. Oh boy. Well, I'll find a new hobby.
Yeah, I guess we'll have to find one aside from drinking. What's your best bet for the weekend?
That's a great question. Hakeem, our good friend from Wager Talk, hopefully I'll see him on Monday as well, put us on to Houston first half. What was that? Middle of the tournament last year.
Yeah.
And then when we saw him in Vegas, I can't remember when I saw him. Must have been before the NFL
Usually
playoffs.
when you hang out with Hakeem, you don't remember anything.
Yeah, I was there. I think I was there was it before I came to New York or was it after? Either way, Mitch Moss was there. That's when he said he had the Lions bet. Anyway, Hakeem told me, he goes, I was sitting right next to him and he goes, all right, we're going to bet for Houston first half. And I go, oh yeah, I completely forgot. about them last year. And he's like, what do you mean? He was like, they're like 11-4 to start the season.
Yeah,
I'm
it was
like,
crazy.
oh, of course they are. And we had to sweat Houston first half, but they got it done for us. So that was really nice. I think we laid like 2.5, and then they ended up losing the game. So that was a really interesting one. But Houston, Kelvin Sampson, lockdown defense. I'm not going to overthink it. I've been making money on this team in the first half all year. Could Duke run away with it in the second half? Absolutely. Could Houston get blown out here early? You know, Mark Zeno mentioned earlier on our phone call, he goes, what are you going to do if Houston's down, 12-4 early? I go, well, then the game's over. Like that's just the reality. They're not built to come from behind. But that first half, they play tighter defense. They're slow and methodical. And if they can shut down Duke in the paint, they're not going to turn the ball over. We know they're going to make their free throws, and we know they're going to play solid defense. So fingers crossed, but I took Houston +3, and I sprinkled a little bit on the first half money line.
Well, tomorrow I'm going to have a nice Italian dinner, early bird special at 5 o'clock at L'Incontro, the best Italian restaurant in New York City. So anyone that comes to New York, you have to go check out L'Incontro by Rocco. I'm going with Dad, first timer, super pumped. Kelly in Vegas, thank you so much for hopping on, and safe travels to Vegas. Hopefully you don't have turbulence.
Thanks.
See ya. Okay, we've got best bets coming up on the show. Kelly was awesome as always. She hates turbulence. She hates flying. So you can all make fun of her for that. I've got NBA TV tonight, also at 6 p.m. 6:30 p.m. Eastern time. So I'm gonna have to hop off pretty quickly. But I'm gonna get through some of this. Oh wait, I didn't do propaganda yet. So let's do propaganda. Oh no, I cut it off. Sorry. Propaganda time. We've got these 5 most bet on props today in Major League Baseball via BetMGM. Max Meyer going over 4.5K. So I looked at this because he's up against the Atlanta Braves. It's 3-6 with a 5 ERA in 14 MLB starts. Wasn't terrible last year against Atlanta. Allowed 1 run in an outing. Allowed 4 runs in another. Atlanta strikes out a decent amount, just over 5Ks a game this year. You've got a few games, 3-7-3, 4-8-6. Those are the strikeouts that the Braves have had this year. So it's kind of sporadic with a sporadic pitcher like Meyer. That's why I'm off of it. The public likes the over 4.5Ks. You know what that tells me? He gets rocked. It's about time. So I'm not going to bet that. Luzardo under 16.5 outs. I got nervous. Featuring Royal Lux coming up. Luzardo under his outs, though. Whew! I thought it was a different under. So people don't like him because it's the Dodgers. They think Luzardo's going to get knocked out. It's the Dodgers. They're amazing. He's not going to last long. Well, Luzardo, lefties have gone 4-4, 5-5 innings so far against the Dodgers. West to east trip. It's really tough a lot of the times on these batters. It's tough a lot on any athlete. They say it's the worst trip to make west to east. They did have yesterday off, though. 2.55 ERA in 3 career starts versus the Dodgers. Not bad. If the public's on his under 16.5 outs, Luzardo might stay in the game. And I'm pretty shocked his strikeout prop's 5.5. So something's a little fishy. I'm going to probably just take the bait. Under the outs, though, I'm not taking. Schwellenbach under 6.5 Ks. I don't know why people are on his under. The Braves starter. He's up against the Marlins. And the Marlins were kind of middle of the pack last year in strikeouts. This year, they're striking out a ton. This year, the Marlins have struck out at least 6 times in 3 of the 4 starts that they've had, or games they've had against a righty starter. Miami, 3-1. These righties are against them over under their K prop. Schwellenbach through 6 scoreless innings, 1 hit in the Braves' 1-0 loss on Saturday to the Padres. Since July 27th, he's 5-2 with a 2.28 ERA, 13 starts. That's the 6th lowest in the span in Major League Baseball. The only start he's had against Miami allowed 3 runs, 10 strikeouts, 7 innings pitched on August 2nd. He's using his splitter more, which was his best pitch last year. Schwellenbach to go under 6.5 Ks. I have no idea why this is one of the top 5 bets, but okay. Yeah, don't bet the under. The Mets, Juan Soto. So they like the over for 1.5 hits, runs, and RBIs. Obviously, they love that for the Mets home opener. He has 1 hit, 1 run, and 1 RBI. So good job to whoever took that. The Mets are currently, let me see the score. Where did that go? Oh, it's over. 5-0 Mets. They won their home opener. Congratulations to Mets fans. And they got to root in a Juan Soto hit and RBI, but no home run. And I did mention this with Cliff Floyd that we saw a big drop in Juan Soto's season home run prop from 39.5 at Yankee Stadium last year. Not at Yankee Stadium, you know what I mean. 39.5 as a Yankee, aka home games at Yankee Stadium, dropped to 31.5 this season at Citi Field. Maybe not as many home runs. Justin Verlander over 5.5 Ks was the 5th most bet on prop at BetMGM. And I was looking at this game. So Verlander had 2 strikeouts in 2 1/3 innings. He allowed 3 runs, 5 hits. Not great. How many pitches did he throw? 65. Not many. Again, he was in a good matchup with Seattle, except Seattle hasn't been striking out as much. Like last year, the Mariners struck out at a historic rate. The Mariners, 6, 4, 3, and 6 strikeouts this year. Verlander's prop was 5.5. That's actually kind of high. For a pitcher like Verlander, you would think early in the season, probably not going to stay in long, hoping the Giants that he doesn't get hurt, per usual. And he got rocked again. So, not great. Again, out of those top 5 most bet on props, I would say congratulations, you hit Juan Soto. The other ones are probably all going to be losers. So don't bet any of those tonight between Mayer, Luzardo, Schwellenbach, and the other 2 you don't have to worry about. Oh, we have 3 minutes left. It's almost time for the end of the show. Royal Locks. Best bets. Royal Locks. I said I was going Jesus Luzardo. I like Jesus Luzardo to go under 5.5 strikeouts. So I like this because he is getting the Dodgers, and this is the trend. I mentioned it earlier with Mid-Major Matt. You gotta bet unders with lefties against the Dodgers. They just don't strike out a lot. Chris Sale didn't even go over his strikeout prop against the Dodgers, and he's the reigning Cy Young winner. Jesus Luzardo, he's averaging about 4 to 5 strikeouts a game against low K rate teams dating back to last year. The Dodgers are averaging 3.5 strikeouts a game against lefty starters dating back to last year. Under 5.5 Ks for Luzardo. Next, Fred VanVleet. So I didn't get to talk much about the NBA today, so I apologize. I'm going to bring this graphic back up. Fred VanVleet to go over 13.5 points. Looking at this graphic, VanVleet's averaging just under 18 points a game against a top 10 defense. And that's who the Houston Rockets are getting tonight. The Houston Rockets are taking on the Oklahoma City Thunder. They're playing at home. At home, these numbers even get better for VanVleet. He's an underrated name. I've looked at the last 5 games the Thunder have played, and it's been more of the guards. They usually allow a guard to get between 1 or 2 guards will get between 13 to 19 points. No guard goes over 20 points, at least in the last 5 games against the Thunder, which is why I don't like Jalen Green as much. And I know someone wrote in the chat earlier they have Jalen Green over points. One of them will go over. I just like VanVleet's numbers better against a top 10 defense. So these are the Royal Locks of the day. I wasn't sure if I think I didn't get to the Warriors back-to-backs. I think I kind of quickly went through everything, but I do have to get on NBA TV. So thank you to everybody who joined the show today. We had Mid-Major Matt who came on, and I'll give you a reminder of his picks for today. He liked Luzardo's under 5.5 strikeouts as well. Yamamoto under 1.5 earned runs. Dean Kramer under 4.5 Ks, and Gavin Williams over 15.5 outs. Kelly in Vegas, she's considering her hedge on Florida by taking an Auburn ticket. However, she's going first half Houston Cougars. We have been riding the first half Houston Cougars for a couple of years, and it has been super profitable. If you're going to go bet them, go bet the Houston Cougars in the first half. Everybody have a great weekend. I hope you have a profitable weekend. Hope you do something great to watch these games tomorrow because it's going to be an epic Final Four battle of all these 1 seeds. I'm about to hop on NBA TV, so if you want to go and watch some more NBA insights for tonight, tune in to NBA TV for NBA Bet at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time. I'll see you guys Monday here at this time again, 5 p.m. Eastern Time. It will be the March Madness NCAA Championship Game night. Good luck.